designed the original Spider-Man costume and the first red gold Iron Man outfit? Because I know there were multiple artists who worked on those first issues.
Well, I can tell you about the Spider-Man costume. You know, I originally gave Spider-Man to Jack Kirby to draw. And I said, Jack, I don't want you to make him as heroic looking as all your other figures. He's just kind of a nebbish kind of high school kid. But Jack cannot help but make people heroic looking. And he drew a few pages and I said, that's not what I want, forget it. So I gave it to Steve Ditko. And Steve Ditko was good at drawing just ordinary looking guys, you know, like me. And that's how it all happened. Jack originally started Spider-Man, but it wasn't right, and Steve took over, and it was very right. And what was the question?
You covered the Spider-Man part. You know the creation of the Iron Man look? Specifically the red and yellow.
Yeah, the Iron Man, I gotta tell you, I was unhappy with Iron Man's costume for the longest time. Originally, I think Don Heck drew the first story. And I said, give him a metal costume, you know, an iron costume that he puts on. That's a dumb phrase, isn't it? An iron costume. But anyway, so he drew it. You probably all saw the cover of the first Iron Man story. That's what it looked like. And after the book came out, I said, that looks kind of dull. Let's try to jazz it up a little. Well, every issue we tried making little changes. We never got it right. But the movies got it right. You're welcome. So I never know where the voice is coming from. We're over here now. You know that. That's great.
Hello, Stan.
Sounds to me like you're coming over there. I'm sorry. Is it really over there?
No, I'm right here.
Where's right here?
You see me right here?
No.
Look over here.
It doesn't matter. Look, I can't see, I can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Don't apologize. I should be apologizing.
No, don't worry about it. We appreciate you being here. Before I ask my question, I do want to let you know that I am a huge Superman fan.
A huge Superman fan?
I am.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Democrats is Republicans.
With that said, my question is actually, which Spider-Man film franchise do you prefer? Do you prefer the Sam Raimi franchise or the new Mark Webb franchise?
Believe it or not, I like them both. I think that the Sam Raimi movies were great, and I think Webb is doing a great job with his. I'm not good at favorites, really. You know, like people always say to me, what's your favorite movie? I've got like 1,000 movies that I love.
Exactly.
I don't know how I could say, and books, what's your favorite book? But let's talk about Superman. You may have heard this before, because I've said it before, but for those who haven't heard it, I want to explain to you why Marvel Comics is very factual and scientific, and why DC, they're not that scientifically accurate. I'm going to give you a good example, speaking of Superman. Superman flies, right?
Yes.
With no visible means of propulsion.
That is correct.
All he does, he goes like this. And he flies. Now we get to Marvel. I wanted Thor, the Thunder God, to fly. I wasn't going to have him go like this. I decided he has a hammer. I have a leather thong that attaches to his wrist. He swings that hammer like a propeller. Then he lets it go. Well, it's attached to his wrist. The hammer flies off and it takes him with him. When Thor flies, it's based on an accurate scientific principle. That's the difference
using a hammer to fly, so I'm not sure what hammer we can scientifically say you could throw and then would let you fly.
No, no, no. He's not simply saying to his hammer, go fly. He's whirling it like, you've heard of propellers, you remember the old What did the propeller do in the front of the plane?
Oh, absolutely, we understand.
Right. But I don't want to be cruel and have you go down totally into defeat. I'll admit that only Thor could fly by swinging a hammer. The average guy couldn't get away with that.
I don't think it's a defeat.
But the average guy couldn't become the Hulk just on account of being near a gamma ray. So, but we try to be scientific. More than I can say for a certain company.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I always thought the monster was the good guy. He didn't want to hurt anybody, but those idiots with torches were always chasing him up and down the hills. So I thought it would be fun to get a monster who's a good guy, but nobody knows it. Then it occurred to me that, what am I going to do with him? You just have a monster running around? I got to add something to the story. So I remembered Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I said, what if he turns into a normal man who turns into a monster, and the monster hates the normal guy, and the normal guy hates the monster? That I thought was interesting, so I had that set. Then I said, well, what kind of costume will I give him? Because the one thing I knew, from all the fan mail we received, the superhero fans loved costumes. So I thought, I can't have a monster make himself a costume. How do I justify that? But I have to do something to satisfy the fans. So I thought, I'll give him a unique skin color. That'll be like a costume. And I decided to give him a gray skin. I thought gray would look dramatic and scary. And he had gray skin in the first issue of the Hulk, if you read it. But the printer couldn't handle the color gray as well as I wanted. On some pages, he was dark gray. On some pages, he was light gray. And his skin didn't have the same color all the time, the same shading. So, being in charge, I'll give him another skin color. You know, the editor of the comic book company is like God. You can do anything. So I looked around. I thought, what color is nobody using? I couldn't think of any characters who were green. So I'll give him green skin. And that's how it happened. As simply as that. To print gray better than he could. He'd have been gray skin. Well, I think green turned out better anyhow. And the next time we get together, I'll tell you all about the inner workings of the Hulk psyche. But that will save that. I want to make sure they come back. Oh, yeah.